I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, Velocities in Music. Today, we're going to do a really cool album by, I think this is how you say it. There's an interview down there, and you can watch it because this guy is from the lead singer from Sigur Ros, but it's Jonsi.
Oh, really?
I think that's how you say it. For lack of a better, you know, us being them Iowans that we are, we're going to just call him Jonsi from now on. Because it's probably easier and we're going to slip up anyway. So we'll just call him Jonsi. We know we're wrong. We'll just run with it. His album in 2010 is called Go. And it's his first solo album. I think it's his first. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. He's
done some other things. It's his first official solo album. And it's his step away from Sigur Ros. So I don't know if they're going to be gone forever, or if they'll come back, but I know that he's intending to do more solo albums and spend a lot of time working on Go, and really, what an accomplishment. Yeah. Tom and I were talking, one of the most aesthetically sounding listens we've ever heard.
Yeah, you really, when you listen to this album, it creates visions. You see all these little details, these little things happening.
Now, the album cover right below our episode here at www.velocitiesmusic.com depicts the sound pretty much perfectly. The color coming out of Jonsi is just wonderful, and it really kind of set the stage for me as I listened to this. Now, the first couple times I listened to this, I made the mistake of listening to it kind of in the background when I wasn't really paying attention. But once I really sat down and plugged my earphones in and thought about what was happening, it blew me away. It blew me away. It's so intricate. Everything is so detailed. There's so much stuff going on at all times that it really, it's not something that you would ever put on in the background.
No.
And you really won't get something out of it. And Tom, go ahead.
You really shouldn't.
Right.
Because this album, timing is everything. Timing is so important. And just to relate my personal experience with this, so that you understand where I'm coming from when I say that, this was the first album of this set of 10 albums that we're doing today that I listened to, you know, like 2 weeks ago. And I realized, I was like, I am not in the mood for this. This is something that I'm going to have to be emotionally vested in order to appreciate, and I am just not right now. I didn't listen to it again until last night. Not until last night. And I was just in the perfect mood. I put it on, and it just knocked me off my feet. It just absolutely, one of the most gorgeous things I've ever listened to. And that, you know, coming back to that visual aspect, you see this soundscape, and everything's so clean cut. And like you said, the album artwork fits perfectly, and here's why. It's got Jonsi, and he's like dark, like black and white, almost kind of sketched out figure. He looks like some creepy Tekken character or something. And then you've got this like color trailing coming out of him.
Like just spewing out of him.
And it describes the sound because the chord progressions, the chord structures, the song structures, the meaning behind it, the mood it creates, very dark, very, not necessarily negative, but introspective and moody. Yet it's so well polished, it's so clean sounding, it's so pretty sounding that it's like this really dark thing being presented in a bright way, and it kind of rips you apart when you listen to it, because you don't know whether you should be smiling and appreciating life when you're listening to it, or if you should be crying. You want to do both at the same time, and it doesn't make any sense. And for that reason, I just love it. I just get so into it because it creates this dual universe within you. Right. And for that reason, that emotional connection that you create with it, if you're not in touch with your emotional side, don't listen to this album. Don't bother. You're probably not going to appreciate it. Maybe you appreciate some of the production things, some of the beats, some of the cool things that are happening. But if you're one of those dudes that's so cut off from your emotional side that like every time you think you start to feel, you have to like grab your balls and go, ugh, then don't listen to this. It's not for you. You have to be able to feel. You have to be able to get into it that way. And also, I'd recommend listening to this album very loud because you will pick up on a lot more of the small things.
You have to turn this up.
Yeah, if you listen to it softly, a lot of the things are just going to get washed out.
One thing you will notice about this, you know, of all the spiraling, you know, guitars and strings arrangements and different sound effects that Jonsi's using, or Jonsi is using, there is a lot of just, one thing that's pretty fluid throughout the album is just these drum cadences. It just sounds like 100 just, you know, Australian, you know, strong-arm guys just beating on these timpanis and bass drums and things. And it just makes these really high high-paced cadences throughout the drive the album along, and really give it some. It lets the structure of these songs be very fluid, almost kind of like how Memory Tapes, which is an electronic release, how they would build up these build up the melody and have this arrangement and then break it down. Jonsi does very similar things here that I like. Now, a couple of the things that did bother me about this is that I felt like it was lacking low end. I really did. Throughout the album, I felt like there's just this general lack of low end that I felt would have made it sound more well-rounded. It kind of was sharp.
He gets kind of into the lower mid-range, but not really much bass.
Nope. And one thing, I love bass. Yeah. He loves bass. One thing that I did notice too, on the first 2 tracks, this is only where I noticed it. From the rest of the album on, I never noticed it, but it was almost like the percussion sounded over-compressed, kind of like what you would hear in sleigh bells. Yeah. It just didn't sound really clean. And this is such aesthetic, clean music, like Tom was saying, that the contrast, I didn't like it. But the song track 3, Tornado, probably one of the most moving songs I've ever heard. Some of the time signatures just blew me away. The strings were just wonderful. I really did like this. And it reminded me, a lot of these songs, Tom was did a great job assessing the mood, but they reminded me of weather. Yeah. And just how like weather systems move through. I mean, it's very visual. Tom nailed it there.
One thing that creates, not only with the sounds, I mean, there's some very unique production and songwriting, and obviously no one has a voice like this guy. But another thing that's cool is he repeats a lot of lyrics. Like track 8 is called Grow Till Tall, and you actually get references to growing, and you even get that specific line right in the track before it. The last 3 tracks in particular, you almost have to listen to together. You have to. It's like a little medley at the end. It's kind of like Abbey Road type thing. Whereas the rest act a little more independently, but still great album flow.
Yeah, and if you were going to compare this, if we haven't done a great enough job comparing this to other bands, Sigur Ros, obviously, that's where Jonsi's from, but Saxon Shower, Explosions in the Sky, they're post-rock, but even, kind of Andrew Bird, I got Fang Island, stuff like that.
I got a lot of Mew.
Yeah, Mew, absolutely. Very, very much so like that. One other thing that I did want to say that bothered me a little bit more, and this isn't a huge criticism, it didn't bother Tom as much from what we talked about before the episode, but I didn't... Jonsi has traditionally in Sigur Ros spoken in Icelandic or Hopelandic, where he's just singing and then he makes lyrics to that. Where he keeps switching back and forth between that style and English. Probably more English than that, but it kept me, it was like it was drawing me to the vocals more so than I wanted to when I wanted to listen to other things, but I was being forced to listen to the vocals. I kind of didn't like that. It bothered me at times. Very minor criticisms on an overall just beautiful palette of aesthetic music that I felt is just like an artist's, little wooden board with all the different colors on it. That's what I feel like this album is, a palette, yeah. I loved it. I'm going to pick 3 tracks. Tornado, track 3, wonderful. Track 7, Around Us, and track 9, Hengelis.
I'm going to pick 3 tracks also, completely different ones. What do you know? First 2 tracks, Go Do and Animal Arithmetic, and then track 5, Sinking Friendships.
Animal Arithmetic, down below, I have the music video. It's awesome. Check it out. I also have a sweet interview with Jonsi, and he's kind of a creepy guy, so give it a second. But I'm going to go 84 on this one. I think this is a very strong release.
I'm going to go 92.
Nice.
I loved it. And there's a lot of bias there because I really felt it. So maybe even more so than the objectively the music that's there. But then again, that objectively that music comes together to create a subjective experience that I get into.
That's what Go's all about. It really is. So tell us what you think. Do you like Jonsi's music? Do you like it and how it differs in Sigur Ros? Let us know what you think at www.velocitiesmusic.com. But that kind of wraps it up. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.